Welcome back to episode 2, vlog 2 for the Civic build. Pretty much where we left off, the engine is in the car. This is not really in there yet. It was like this. This is just on for fitting purposes. So this is a list. We're adding stuff as I remember. I need to redo it because the rain messed it up, but we still have to put together front suspension. It's on the front suspension. We just need to kind of torque everything, go through it. Axle nuts, steering knuckle, those are all just little things. Torque subframe bolts. The header and the intake will go on soon. That's the next thing that goes on. The starter, I gotta cross that out. We got the starter in. Actually, you guys will see me put the starter in. I still need to buy a throttle body and I still need to buy injectors. So today we'll be installing the intake. Actually, we modified the RBC intake so that we can install this little part right here. This is from Track Tough. This is actually kind of like a bypass, but essentially the coolant hose that comes from out of the thermostat housing will go in here, and this goes right here. And what that'll allow us to do is if we ever need to remove the manifold, we actually don't need to drain the coolant anymore, since this manifold usually goes all the way out here. That's already cut. So now if we ever need to remove it, it just comes right off. We don't need to drain the coolant, and that'll stay on there. So I finally got the hardware for the starter, and it is just these 2 bolts. This is just a brand new reman starter. I just ordered one for a K24 TSX. We ended up moving the engine up to the next notch over. There's 2 settings. This is the higher one. The reason is because my Moroso pan sits really low. I don't know if you can see that, but this is my splitter bracket right here, and it kind of sits even lower than that. So even at the higher setting, I don't think there'll be issues if you run an original pan, but with this one it sits lower, so hopefully I can get that to work. But pretty much, other than the engine we got the starter installed. There's 2 bolts here. I believe this was 33 foot-pounds and 48. I think that's pretty much it as far as this area. Before I put the intake on, I still have to install the radiator and some other stuff. So now I'm going to go over the stuff that we got from our partners with Hybrid Racing. Without their support, honestly, I don't know if I'd even be doing this swap, to be honest. Let me just kind of go over everything, make some room on the bench. We can talk about, oh look, changed this on the truck the other day. Nice hit from the rain we've been getting this week. Yeah, put this down. This is a big care package from Hybrid Racing. So I got a K-Series charge harness from them. This is I opened it up, but this is a Rywire budget harness. I didn't want to reuse an old harness. I didn't want to deal with old connections. I didn't want there to be the least amount of electrical problems. So that's the K2 budget harness. And then I got an O2 sensor from Hybrid Racing. This is their performance fuel pump, so I'll be running a Hybrid Racing fuel pump. This is compatible with E85. This is a 335. You can't really see that. So, because I do plan to run E85. And then I got right here fuel pressure regulator. Really nice quality parts. You can't really take it down, but comes with all these adapters so I can run the regulator. Fuel pressure gauge. Again, really nice parts. This is their K-swap fuel lines, because I am gonna run, which is the next part, their fuel rail. I'm really excited for all of this. It's got a port here for I guess the fuel pressure gauge would go there, but I think I might mount it to the radiator or the regulator instead. And then we got an OEM replacement throttle cable. I think that means you can run your stock throttle cable. I guess it just depends on the throttle body. Swivel neck, low temperature thermostat. That way I'm still waiting on their lines to come in, or their coolant hoses, sorry. This will look really nice. We'll install this later today. K-Series swap ground kit. So very important, make sure that the engine is grounded correctly. And this is their K-swap conversion harness. So this one is, I guess, to make the ECU with the chassis. We got some cooling fans. And the last part, well, I did get the Hasport mounts from them. I got this really cool oil cap and the oil dipstick, and then also the pulley. Finally get a chance to work on it. So it's been about 3 weeks since we've touched it. Just been too busy here at the shop. But we finally got some time, and by we got some time, we made time and came in on a Sunday to work on it. So it's been so long, I don't even remember what we have to do. I did get a little, I don't know what the word is, not anxious, but impatient. There you go. And started putting stuff together here and there. We're supposed to film it and we didn't record it, but I'm gonna go over it anyways. This is how the engine looks right now. As you can see, it looks a little bit different from our last video. And by different, it looks more complete. I installed a Track Tough bypass. So this one goes right here. This intake used to come out all the way over here and bolt from down here. And I cut all of that off. Honestly, it's not the best, but again, I just said I got impatient. And it works for now. I don't know if I'll stick with this intake, so that's why I didn't really care too much. I just needed to work for now. And then I torqued down the intake. I use ARP studs to do that. Didn't need to. The OEMs were fine, but I think they look pretty cool. And then I installed my hybrid racing thermostat housing. I was able to clock this the way I wanted to. Same with the top radiator. Hybrid racing. This one goes nicely under my intake, which I'll go over right now. Full size radiator. Got the cool little H logo on the front. It also came with these clean brackets to hold the radiator. I have it currently sitting on one of the brackets on the frame. Can't really see it, but there's one down there and here for like the half size one. There's another one over here. I think it's for like the AC, or it might be swapped. I don't remember exactly, but I'm only using this middle one. I'm using the middle one here. I'm using this one here and this one here. This seems to be working for my setup right now. Once we go on track, we'll see. One thing I do want to add is that I had to cut the frame here. But I did this a long time ago with a different full size that I had. So I don't know if it'll bolt up without cutting it. I want to say that it will because it's got this like little dip on it, but it was already done to the car. Let me know if you didn't have to do that. But mine was already cut, so I just left it alone. And then skunk tooth throttle body. Because I am using an RBC manifold, I had to get an adapter because the RBC manifold comes factory with a drive-by-wire throttle body. From my understanding, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But from my research, these came with a drive-by. You have to use an adapter so that you can swap over to a cable style throttle body. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward. The plate bolts onto here. There's no holes or anything, and it comes with its own gaskets, which is cool. And then the skunk tooth throttle body. This is a 70 millimeter, by the way. Big throttle body. There's bigger ones, but from my my research and what people have been, numbers that they've been getting around 260 to 70 horsepower with the setup that I'm gonna go with. So RBC manifold, skunk tooth throttle body, pretty much a stock engine, oil pump. I already went through that in the first episode if you want to go back to that one. The last thing I did was the Y-wire harness. It looks to be plug and play. This should be fairly simple, except I'm missing sensors and some of them are actually wrong. I needed to buy, this is from O'Reilly's. So this is the crank sensor. And also this is the knock sensor. The knock sensor, both of these I had to replace them because the plugs are different. So first one I'm gonna do is the crank sensor. And so helps a lot to have a lift. Here's the plug. CKP crank position sensor, and that one has two lines on each, two little like notches on each side, but that one doesn't fit in there, so it's different. So we're gonna take that off and then swap it over. Okay. Cool. So these notches are a little bit lower. This one, it looks to be very close. This is a aftermarket, oops, import direct part. So with these O-rings, I don't know, I like to put just a little bit of oil on them, just so that when it goes in, you're not like pulling the rubber, it kind of just slides in. It'll still seal, it'll be fine, it won't leak. Just a little bit, so it'll let it go through. So just put that back. And just to be sure, yeah, that's gonna go in. So cool. Then this one should plug right in. Perfect. That one's good. Now we'll go to the knock sensor. Knock sensor. This one's more square. This one's more circular. Cool. The threads. This one looks to be a lot smaller, but the threads seem to be the same. You need this one if you're gonna run a rye wire harness. If you're doing RSX harness, engine harness, then I think you still need this, because this is a TSX harness and I don't think it works with EK. So we'll install this one, figure out what torque specs are, and go from there. Alright, new knock sensor is in, and let's see if it works. Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? There it is, knock sensor. Nice. Alright, that works. So, we're running out of time. We're trying to make it to the Togeted track event, and today is the 10th. The track day is on the 30th. So I have a little bit less than 3 weeks to get this thing ready to go. I'm gonna try my best to get it going. It's gonna be hard because I can only work on it during the off hours. I'm pretty busy during the day. Right now, I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. A good customer of ours brought this RX-2 in. We need to make his wheels fit. Haven't really had too much time, to be honest. So hopefully tomorrow I'll get him going. I need to get some spacers so that it can push the wheel a little bit in. Then take off some camber because it's too aggressive. You can see it. You see the rear compared to the front. We're gonna kind of correct that and make the car drivable again. So that's for tomorrow. This one had an accident on the road during these rainy days. Basically replaced the entire suspension, got it running for them. So this was honestly supposed to leave earlier, but just trying to catch up with everything, got that one going. We got the one and only Grid Partners BMW in here. This needs an alignment. This one, good buddy of us, Tommy. We're doing full suspension on this Corolla. I just parked that outside so we can put the Civic in for a little bit. This one right here, my personal favorite, to be honest. Toyota Excelsior right-hand drive to Lexus LS400. We're gonna rebuild his suspension. This is gonna be the job for this coming week. But yeah, anyways, the point of what I'm saying is there's a lot of stuff happening here at the shop. On top of the projects that we got in here, we also have the alignments coming in, any tire services that are coming in. You know, we already have our schedule for the week pretty much booked. So yeah, we got 3 weeks. There isn't too much to do. Just buttoning stuff up. I'm waiting on injectors. Peter over at 365 Performance helping me source those out. Cables for the transmission, that's one of the last things I need. And just random sensors. I'm gonna start digging into it right now. I don't know what I need, but we'll see. Because this is like I said, the first time I've done this swap. And I've watched a lot of videos, but you know, there's always gonna be those things that, you know, can go wrong, you don't know about. Happens with everything. Just take your time, be patient, look over your work, make sure it's all good. And yeah,